United Nations uses this day to raise awareness about the challenges and the difficulties of international migration. Let's look at how some migrants are coping in Uganda and Rwanda.
Fine-tuning a new beginning. Paluku Adela is a music producer from the Democratic Republic of Congo. Since 2003, he's had to adjust to life in Uganda, but says it's tough being an immigrant here.
To fit into the industry here in Uganda, remember we have a lot of competitions in Uganda. We found big people, big producers.
The language barrier is another challenge he faces.
My first recording in the studio in Uganda was in Uganda, by where the guy I was recording didn't know how to speak Swahili, didn't know how to speak English, only Luganda. Remember, I don't know Luganda. Remember, I don't know English by then. So I could do all the sign to make myself understanding with the guy. I could at least to bring that harmony through signs.
And many refugees face the same challenges. Many migrants like Adele come to Uganda seeking refugee, but also for better opportunities. While some have made it, others are still struggling to settle in because they have to compete with locals for jobs and limited resources. Uganda is home to over 1 million refugees. Experts say many migrants are driven to relocate because of economic instability in their home countries. But integrating these vast numbers is still a challenge.
Countries like Uganda, where opportunities are fewer even for locals, there will be, yes, competition over resources, available opportunities, which naturally can create issues.
Like many migrants, Adela has chosen to make Uganda his second home and take advantage of the country's peaceful environment. And as refugees continue to come to Uganda, it's hoped they will create opportunities for themselves, which will in turn contribute to the local economy. Hilara Isga, CGTN, Kampala.
Flowers and grass stalks make the room festive. They set the stage for the ceremony that will take place here later today. It is a celebration to mark the baptism of a little baby boy. Babies are reason to celebrate under normal circumstances, but this one is even more special. He was born to refugee parents in Libya, and now he and his parents have arrived at the United Nations Emergency Transit Center in Gashora, Rwanda, on their way to a new life. 306 refugees call this camp home. 24-year-old Simon left home in Eritrea for Libya in 2017, seeking safe passage to the better life he believed awaited him in Europe.
My family, my father and my dad, they spent their whole years, their whole time in order to serve me, a good future. They sent me to a good school. They gave me whatever I want until I was a teenager. So it's time for me to give back to my family. We thought Libya was a place for us just to cross the sea.
But he didn't make it to Europe. He, like thousands of refugees and asylum seekers, was detained in Libya after being rescued or intercepted at sea by the Libyan Coast Guard. After an agreement with the African Union, Rwanda agreed to temporarily take in at least 500 of these immigrants who mainly come from Eritrea, Ethiopia, Somalia and Sudan.
When they told us that we are going to be evacuated from Libya, the first thing that we done is we raised our hand to God and we thank Him. It was like we were born again and again, so we were so happy.
The United Nations Refugee Agency provides the migrants with housing and food. They're also learning the local languages so that they can integrate with the local community and their children can get an education.
The community is actually good, really. They can respect us, even we respect them. We live in a good, we interact with them good way.
They haven't been here long, but these refugees have found a semblance of normalcy in this camp. They have formed relationships and found routines. And though they are still waiting to be settled, here they have found community. Authorities say the evacuated refugees can return to their homeland, be sent to a third country or stay in Rwanda. Some of the evacuees, however, still dream of starting a beautiful new life overseas.
I'm waiting to reach to Europe, maybe to a place where I can repay my family's debt. I have a lot of debts. When I reach Europe, I will work hard. I will get what I was thinking, and I hope they will be still alive until I repay them.
But now they dream in safety, and every day they remember the over 4,500 immigrants the United Nations Refugee Agency says are still detained in Libya. And when they find a reason to celebrate, they do. Every little freedom, every celebration has been hard-won, and they believe there's more to come yet. Wilkis Anyabo, CGTN, Gashora, Rwanda.